sprawling Aqueduct course. As of now, another Saturday here at the Big A in the books, but that doesn't mean there's still not a lot of racing action from across the country. As always, big Saturdays here in the early parts of 2015. Welcome to Aqueduct Insider, and thanks for joining us on MSG+. Maggie Wolfendale filling in for a vacationing Jason Blewett alongside Richard Migliore. And Mig, you know Jay's soaking up the sunshine in South Florida.
Yeah, absolutely. Just getting a well-deserved vacation, and he's down in South Florida. You know he's going to go to the races as well as the beach, and he is down there, and the Eclipse Awards are tonight. I wonder if he'll take in any of that. Oh,
I'm so jealous. We'll get to the Eclipse Awards in a second here, but we first got to address new safety measures that were announced yesterday by NYRA and President Chris Kay. Looking at some of them, one of the big things as far as, bettors are concerned, we moved the post times. During weekdays, it will be 1:20, and weekends it'll be 12:45. What does that do for the track, Richie?
Well, I think it gives, first of all, Glenn Kozak and his crew, who do a great job, a little more opportunity to work on the track after training, and then also the opportunity for the temperatures to rise, the sun to come out. The other day we had a problem. We weren't able to race because there were still ice balls in the track. This will give the track a little more opportunity to thaw out, as well as the fact that they're going to 8 races a day on weekdays, addressing the horse population in New York over the winter, maybe a little less stress on the animal.
Right. In addition to that, horses will not be able to run back within 14 days of their last start, so making them eligible on the 15th day. We also raised the bottom for maiden claimers to 16, and also a poor performance list now.
I think out of all the measures that they're taking, the poor performance list is the one that I'm most behind. I think we really have to look at when horses are getting beat 25 lengths or more, that possibly either they're just in poor form or they're just not as sound as they need to be to compete on this circuit. And the fact that we're going to look into that and keep an eye on that says to me we're taking this safety issue very seriously.
Yes, we are. Well, some guys that are taking the Eclipse Awards seriously, though, are ones that are being honored tonight, and one of them none other than our very own Tom Durkin, who is being awarded with the Eclipse Award of Merit, and no more deserving gentleman.
No, absolutely. What he's meant to the game of thoroughbred racing with his iconic race calls, just more than calling a race, but painting a beautiful picture of the race. And he's meant so much to New York racing, but racing on a whole. I think it's a very, very deserving honor.
Well, I'm sure that Tom Durkin called some of the horses that are currently retired at old friends, and Michael Blowen, the job he does and the care he gives to these retirees is exceptional, and he will be awarded the Outstanding Achievement at the Eclipse Awards tonight.
And another gentleman, so deserving, a good friend. I always go visit him in Kentucky, see some of the old horses that I used to ride, like Hidden Lake, A Firm Success, but they do a wonderful job, him and everybody at Old Friends, and it's the people like that that really honor the horses on a daily basis by giving their time and their energy to make sure they have good retirements.
It's really an exceptional thing that they do, and they just welcomed Silver Charm recently to Old Friends down in Kentucky. But moving on to a guy around here that we like to see, Mike Luzzy. I actually got to catch up with him today. He was out at the races today, Meg.
I'd like to see that.
Well, a sight that I'm sure everybody is excited to see here with jockey Mike Luzzy on your feet. How are you feeling, most importantly?
I feel good. I've been on my feet for a couple weeks now. Spent a lot of time in bed in a wheelchair, so it's good to come out today.
And as far as physical therapy, what are you up to? What's your kind of tentative schedule as of now for recovery?
No tentative schedule. There's no, scheduled date. I'm just starting physical therapy. I've been walking for 2 weeks, so it feels good. It doesn't hurt. My muscles are a little weak, so it's going to be a while.
So you up to anything fun on your time off?
A lot of movies, a lot of TV. Christmas was nice. We had a good time with the family, so a lot of family time. It's been okay.
Well, Luz, we miss you around here, and we hope you get better soon.
I'll be back soon.
Great. It's miraculous. Luz grew some hair on his time away, too.
I actually thought that was his hair. That was a hat with hair. And I really did. When I first saw him, I said, wow, he did. But, it turned very gray. Great to see Mike down at the room. Everybody was happy to see him. He's gone through, a great ordeal here. He's one of the, really stalwart journeyman here, a guy that means so much to the jockeys room as a leader. He's sorely missed, but it was fun to see him today and see him doing so well.
I know. I couldn't believe how sound he was. I mean, for a guy who was kind of bedridden for the last couple months, to be walking as well as he did, it looked really promising.
Yeah, it really did. And, you know, he always has that great attitude, that great enthusiasm. That's what's going to see him heal up as well. And I personally can't wait to see him back.
Me neither. Well, jumping into our racing action here at Aqueduct, we had the Interborough Stakes, $100,000 on the line for fillies and mares going to 6 furlongs. John Embrial has the call of the feature.
And the rough. Air of Distinction. There goes Bridgehampton. Bridgehampton now to the front. Cape Cod Carol, Air of Distinction right together. Stormy Novel now moves up from 4th. Then it's a break, 5 lengths back to Willett, and Expression is the trailer. Expression already better than 10 lengths from front-running Bridgehampton, who leads here by 3 lengths and ran the opening quarter in 22 2/5 seconds. Bridgehampton on top as they go around the turn. Bridgehampton by 3. Cape Cod Carol second by a head. Air of Distinction is on the outside in 3rd. Then Stormy Novel. Willett is gaining some ground now from 5th. Farther back, it's Expression. The field is at the head of the stretch. It's Bridgehampton down at the rail. Air of Distinction now moving up. Stormy Novel, Willett farther back. It's Expression as the field comes down for the 8th pole. Air of Distinction, Bridgehampton. Here is Willett, and here comes Expression now, putting in her late run on the extreme outside. Willett has taken over the lead. Then Air of Distinction and Expression, and Willett is the winner of the Interborough. Air of Distinction was second. Then Expression.
Well, only winning by a length and a quarter, but you couldn't have done it any easier than the newly turned 7-year-old Willett, New York bred. It's good to see her back in form here, Richie.
Well, she looked great to me in the paddock. I actually don't know. I meant to ask you earlier if you thought the same thing. And I couldn't believe how confident Irene Ortiz was. He was still about 4 lengths off the lead. He was looking behind him because he knew he had the ones in front of him.
Oh, yeah, just a couple taps on the shoulder, and that was it. He was pretty much statuesque in the irons. But it's always good to see small stables do well, and her trainer is one of them.
Yeah, Jimmy Islin, he consistently for a long time with a small number of horses, always seems to come up with a good one. And I actually had an opportunity to talk with him after the race.
Yes, I'd like to see that.
Jamie Willett was very impressive. She looked like a winner from about the 3/8 pole. You had to feel good about it.
It was great that she could come back, you know, after we were a little concerned after the last race, but she came back and really showed what she can do. So that's an exciting, you know, thing to do if she is retired as a broodmare, or does she keep going for the Barbara Fritchie? That'll be decided next.
Well, when you have a 7-year-old mare like her, and she had a few races that were a little bit subpar for her, and she's been so consistent, how do you make that assessment to go on? She must have showed you something.
She was, after the last race, she was flourishing. It's never what we want. You know that, Richard. It's what really is the reality. And she was flourishing. So I made the decision. We had a lovely day to run on a great track, and it was a great thrill.
And now, if she does go on to the Barbara Fritchie, great. If she's going to be retired, do you have any plans to who she might go to?
Well, a lot of people have been interested in buying her or to breed her, so we'll have to sit down and enjoy today, and then tomorrow back to the drawing board.
Enjoy the moment. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. You're doing well, right?
Very complimentary of you as well, Richie.
Well, I used to ride a great deal for Jimmy. Won a lot of nice races for him. We had a nice history, but always good to see him in the winner's circle. And he's a gentleman, one of the good guys in the game.
Totally. I could not agree with you more. And thinking about it, you know, he mentioned that they might sell her. But what is it like, I mean, to have a small stable and have such a star in there, it's hard to part ways.
It has to be so hard to part, especially you've had her for so long. She's meant so much to you. You wake up every morning anticipating going to the barn to see her. That's going to be a void that's going to be pretty hard to fill.
It truly is. I've been in those positions myself, but hopefully we'll see Willett running around here. She's an exceptionally talented New York bred mare. But let's move on to the boys, which was race 6. It was an open 32 claimer going the 1 mile distance. Johnny I with the call.
Stumbling start for number 3, Pulpits Express, and he's been taken way to the back of the pack. From the inside. There goes North Ocean out for the lead. And Attractive Ride is running in second with Frazel in third. Chief Energy has made his way down to the rail in fourth. Signature Seven's on the outside, moving up a spot from fifth. Then it's Cousin Michael next in sixth, followed by Lay It Down in seventh. A gap of almost 5 back to Bimata, and Pulpits Express trails after that poor beginning. The quarter went in 24-1, and it's the favorite. North Ocean on top here, 3/4 of a length. Attractive Ride in second. Frazel's on the outside in third. Just in behind is Chief Energy, who's saving ground down towards the rail in fourth. Then it's Signature 7 running along in fifth. Cousin Michael is next. Then Lay It Down. Pulpits Express. And at the back is Bimata. The half in 47-1. They're still all chasing North Ocean, who leads midway on the turn. North Ocean by a length. Attractive Ride asked for more, not responding. Here's Frazel on the outside, moving up. Cousin Michael's on the move. Chief Energy down at the rail, 3/4 in 1:12. Here comes Frazel up to challenge North Ocean for the lead. And Bimata, who was way back, has come on and swept by them all. Bimata's in front and drawing away in the stretch. It's Bimata. And we're going to have a big upset here. Bimata at 17-1. Cousin Michael up for second, Photo for third.
Well, a 17-1 shot, winning like a 2-5 shot in here with Bimata. First off, the claim for Eddie Barker.
Good to see Eddie Barker in the winner's circle, a horseman that works very hard and did a good job with this horse. Terrific ride from Jeremy Rose. As patient can be. Saved every inch of ground, came out and made a run. I think he thought he was riding the Fleet Alex.
Yes, except he didn't have to clip heels or anything like that. So it was good to see Jeremy bring his tack up here. A veteran rider who's been around the Mid-Atlantic for a long time finally took the step up.
Took the step up. He's enjoying a good winter, but this ride was terrific. They went very fast early for a 2-turn race, and his patience paid off.
All right, well, that'll do it for round number 1 here on Aqueduct Insider. We'll be right back after these messages for race number 8. Well, live racing here on a special Martin Luther King Day, Monday, January 19th. That's this Monday, 12:25 post. And just so you know, we will be changing those post times this coming Thursday, January 22nd. That's 1:20 for weekdays and 12:45 for weekends, beginning this coming Thursday. Welcome back to Aqueduct Insider on MSG Plus. Maggie Wolfendale filling in for Jason Blewett, who is getting a lot tanner than I am right now, along with Richard Migliore. Well, we got to get back to racing action. Race number 8, Mig, it was a good one on the cards, an allowance race. Love to see these matchups.
The lead from the outside, Celebrated Talent now moves up. Old Upstart is down at the rail. Sasakaya, Street Lord, Frost Jordan all together. Coach Inge has gained ground from an outside post as they go into the clubhouse turn, and it is Celebrated Talent the leader. Coach Inge runs in second. Luna Rover now back running in third, and Frost Jordan is alongside in fourth. A break of 2. Old Upstart on the inside in fifth. Street Lord is alongside in sixth. Then it's Finn's Quest running in seventh. Sasakaya is eighth. Is Silver Good has one horse beaten, and that's Lieutenant Shawnee O, who trails the field in 10th. And they're midway up the backstretch. The quarter went in 24-2. Celebrated Talent on the lead here by a length. Coach Inge in second. Now a length and a half to Luna Rover down at the rail. And on the outside is Frost Jordan after a half in 48-1. Old Upstart in fifth. Street Lords on the outside in sixth. Sasakaya now gaining some ground from seventh. Finn's Quest down on the inside in eighth. At the back, Lieutenant Shawnee O and Is Silver Good. Celebrated Talent is still the one to catch. Celebrated Talent by 3/4 of a length over Coach Inge. A break of 3 to Old Upstart, and then Sasakaya. 3/4 went in 1:11-4. Celebrated Talent kicks clear by 3.5 lengths. Coach Inge in second. Old Upstart on the outside in third. Then Sasakaya. It's Celebrated Talent. And Celebrated Talent is going to do it in front-running fashion here. Celebrated Talent. A wire-to-wire winner. Coach Inge was second. Looked like Sasakaya got third over Old Upstart.
It was speed all the way for celebrated talent who added blinkers, breaking from the 10-hole. Not easy to do, Richie, going long.
No, and they needed to be aggressive from that post position. We knew he had possessed speed already, and it was going to be accentuated with those blinkers. This was a pretty strong effort.
It was, and I thought a very decisive and good move by Angel Cruz, the young apprentice rider, to do so and get him out there because he had speed right to the inside with him with Coach Inge.
And a lot of times, if you're aggressive and make other people's decisions for them, say, this is the way I'm riding my race, you guys decide what you want to do around me. And another thing about Angel Cruz, I really like the way he finishes. For an apprentice jockey, he finishes like a journeyman.
Well, it's exciting to see. You know, a lot of these guys that come up from the Mid-Atlantic with their bugs, sometimes they do return to Maryland. So it'll be interesting to see if he stays here or goes south again.
Well, he's making a pretty good case to gain a foothold here.
Oh, it's always exciting to watch these apprentice riders. But let's get to the rest of the card, see if Angel Cruz picked up another win. Hey, but we'll look at races 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 9.
Wantagh Queen has dropped far back. They come into the lane, the half mile in 48-1. Agate on the inside and Jilly Mack on the outside. Jilly Mack now takes the lead. Agate battles on in second. Farther back, Northern Analyst and Bossy Boots. There's just a 16th of the wire, and Jilly Mack has opened up in deep stretch. It will be Jilly Mack, a much the best winner, won by 5. Agate was second by 6. And Bossy Boots finished third. Then Hampton 5-1. Bad to their own has dropped out of it. Hampton 5-1 is now the leader. Honor Bound runs in second. Then Party On, Bad to their own, and Laker Pride. Hampton 5-1 with a 3-length lead. Party On the outside moves to second. Manuel Franco sweeps the double. He wins here on Hampton 5-1. Party On was second. Down at the rail is Wild Finish. Then it's Every Dog Has His Day. They're in the stretch now, and it is Carolinian in front by 2. Seek to Destroy on the outside in second. Wild Finish down towards the rail in third. Entry mate Carolinian is the leader with a 16th out. Then Seek to Destroy. Wild Finish continues to close. Carolinian wire to wire. It looked like entry mate Wild Finish got second. He's in a photo. Dropping back. Then Sir Marvelous and Dash of Dazzle. Von Frazen at the back. The half in 45 4/5 seconds. And Marble Falls has taken over the lead with an 1/8 of a mile to the finish. Marble Falls in front by 4. Sir Marvelous has now moved up into second. But there's less than a 16th of the wire. And nobody's going to catch Marble Falls. A 5-length winner. So Marvelous was second. Von Frazen came on to get third. Boss Daddy Stalagmite. Stalagmite has come away with the lead. War Hero. And on the far outside, here comes Clean Cut Kid. War Hero. Clean Cut Kid on the outside. Stalagmite now back in third. It's War Hero trying to hold off Clean Cut Kid. War Hero has the lead as they come down for the finish, and it will be the 1-2 favorite War Hero to prevail. Clean Cut Kid was second. Big break back to a photo for third. Paul Len, Channel Boy, now back in third. Coldwater Flat back in fourth. On the outside is Ice Wagon after a half in 46 3/5 seconds. Grandpa Len on the outside, 8 cents down at the rail. And the two of them are right together with less than an 1/8 of a mile to the finish. 8 cents at the rail. Grandpa Len on the outside. Ice Wagon and Kodiak Cody. They come down for the wire, and it's the gray Grandpa Len to win it. 8 cents was second. Kodiak Cody got third. Ice Wagon was fourth.
Well, we saw some pretty fast times, Richie, for the better horses on this card and in the races. And let's go back to that starter that we saw in race 5 with Marble Falls. He was a horse who put everything together finally, especially when he broke his maiden, and this performance too.
Well, it looks like he figured out the game and he got a little confidence last time. It took him to drop to maiden 30. He reported home a winner that day, but I think he really improved from that start to this start. And sometimes, Maggie, it just takes them a little bit of confidence to get where they really need to be.
And two, he was a horse who was a bit snake-bitten as far as the tracks that he pulled, because he was on muddy, wet tracks for most of his career, and now 2 starts on fast tracks. He's really shredded his stuff, and 1:10 and 2, a couple fractions of a second faster than what Willett ran in the Interborough.
Yeah, and that's impressive in itself. And he looked like a winner every step of the race, kind of dragging Junior Alvarado out of the saddle around the turn and then drawing off impressively to the stretch. I think this horse will take a rising class and be successful.
Yeah, Bill Mott, always talented. Well, a sire that's talented is Frost Giant, so that leads us to our New York bred standout of the day. We did have a couple runners on the card, Frost Giant, but we have to give it to the old mare in Willett. She's just remarkable in the career that she's accumulated thus far.
A hickory mare at the age of 7, still strutting her stuff, much like the Frost Giants. They're durable, they seem to get better with age, and they're able to do anything. They run long, short, turf, or dirt. Frost Giant, upstate New York.
Yeah, well, excited to see what he brings forth with his new 2-year-olds. As always, as we'll get to 2-year-old racing, it seems kind of far away as of now in the middle of winter at Aqueduct, but make sure you contact Eric Bishop for the breeding information about Frost Giant. Well, let's move on to jockey standings. And the Ortiz brothers, they do pretty well around here, and Jose Ortiz leading. Manny Franco, who was nipping at his heels, he took down the daily double.
And Manny Franco's not going away quietly. It looked like Jose Ortiz was on his way to a rout. Manny Franco clawing his way back in. All of these young guys are so talented. The top 5 guys, I don't think anybody's over 22 years old there. And even the guys underneath them, pretty good young colony here.
Right, and the 2 Bug Boys rounding out the top 5. David Jacobson leads Linda Rice, who is getting closer, 3 wins behind his 16. Gary Gullo, Michelle Nevin, high percentage.
Yeah, we see a lot of high percentage people right up there. Gary Gullo really running horses where they can win, but long way to go yet. So we're going to have a lot of interesting little sidebars here.
Yeah, and always the claims are pretty interesting. Carolinian, well, he went to Rudy Rodriguez, and we had a 4-way shake with Seek to Destroy as well as in the 7th, too.
I'm always curious when you see these 4-way shakes or 5-way shakes even. You know, everybody's seeing something they like, and then someone's going to get lucky or, in some cases, not so lucky.
You know, it always seems as though the very obvious ones like War Hero, sometimes they're not even touched. Eddie Keneally, the only one in for a horse dropping out of an allowance race, who did win for the 16, and Eddie always willing to take those Chad Brown give-up horses.
Well, and here was a horse, though, that taken that pretty precipitous drop and kind of had to work for the win, though, so you look like he was well spotted at 16.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that will do it, and we will head back and down the final turn of this Aqueduct Insider on this Saturday evening. Welcome back to Aqueduct Insider, taking a view of the spacious Aqueduct paddock with our nice foliage there for the winter time. At least we have something green in the paddock, and at least it's not white as of now. Welcome back to this final segment on Aqueduct Insider and MSG Plus. Maggie and Richie along for the ride. Let's jump right in to races for tomorrow on Sunday. We're going back a bit of a way here for guys. Welcome back to Aqueduct Insider. Getting a nice shot of the Everblooms in the Aqueduct paddock. Always spacious down there. I'm always holding it down in the paddock. Richie, Maggie, Wolfendale, alongside Mr. Migliore as we head into the final turn of this Aqueduct Insider. And taking a look at tomorrow's races, Richie, we'll start things off with a pretty nice allowance race for the 4-year-olds and upwards going 6 furlongs. We have to go back a long way to the horse that we're checking out here for his last win. That's Migliore in the 2013 Capicella.
He was very promising here. He unfortunately was derailed after that, and then he had some time off, but he came back running when he was defeated by Honor Code last time. This is a very good sprinter who's shown an affinity for the inner track. He's never run a bad race on it, and he should be pretty tough from that outside post tomorrow.
I agree with you. He was very, very game in his last effort in 2014. Moving on to last year's Capicella winner, that was Oliver Zip for Kelly Breen, and really the only blemish on this horse's record is his last race, which was going a mile and 16th in the Federico Tessio.
Yeah, when he tried to stretch out, which everybody has a good 3-year-old, they have to see if they can possibly stretch out. So it's the battle of the Capicella winners, basically. But I like Migliore just being drawn just outside of Oliver Zip, who's going to show a lot of speed, and he'll have his sights set on him from early on.
Right, Migliore has a bit more recency, as we haven't seen Oliver Zip since way back when in May. But moving on to the featured race on tomorrow's Sunday card, it's the Holly Hughes. And you always get a venerable cast for this race of New York breds. We saw some New York breds representing down in Florida today with the Sunshine Millions, but none other than Big Business and the Alex M. Robb. He has to cut back, though.
Cutting back, and it could be a tall order because there is one horse in here that I think could be loose on the lead, but this is a very consistent horse, Big Business, and you know he's going to be coming late. I just wonder if he's going to run out of ground, Maggie.
Well, David Jacobson has won the last 2 Holly Hughes, but Mike Hushin has won ultimately. He's won 5 editions of this, and he has 2 in here. Captain Sirius, we're checking him out in the Mike Lee this past year.
Well, and he's dropping down from some stiffer company recently. Here you saw him in the Mike Lee against New York bred sprinting, quite impressive. He gets an outside post. He has enough speed to put himself in the game, but doesn't have to be committed to the lead. And that's good because Mike Hushin has another pretty fast horse in here.
Yeah, he looks to sit the optimal trip, but when that's gonna go is going to be I'm Stoked.
And I'm Stoked is fast. He fought off all challenges last time, refused to lose. I don't see anybody that can run with him early here. I think he's going to get loose and be tough to run down. But did this effort take a lot out of him because he had to work hard for it every step of the way?
I know, and it wasn't like this was a totally biased track, but it was very kind to speed horses, and we did see some winners in that kind of same position. The track's been very fair the last couple days, so we'll see if he can pull that same kind of trip, but Mike Hushin looks to make it 6 wins in the Holly Hughes. But does Andy like Mike Hushin in tomorrow's race? Let's find out with Handicapping Insider.
Well, you know what Sunday is. Sunday is Mitch Levitas' favorite day. It's Holly Hughes Day. Probably the most important day for him and his family. So I think it's important that I make a selection in honor of our producer, Mitch Levitas. I don't like the favorite Big Business. He certainly is the worst to beat. He's nothing if not consistent. 6 furlongs, a bit short, though, perhaps, for him. I like Captain Sirius. I think he stalks his uncoupled stablemate, Loki's Vengeance, in this race. I think he takes over. I think he beats this field. He ran very well up a tiring inside last time in the fall highway. This is the race for Captain Sirius to get the right kind of trip, stalking, seize control, and get the job done, and he won't be favorite. Good luck to Mitch Levitas, and good luck to you.
Well, sometimes we see those handicapping insiders, they do tend to go off favored, but they do take a lot of money.
Well, people pay attention to it. You know, they look forward to seeing it in the evenings and play the next day accordingly.
Well, I hope you tuned into this edition of Aqueduct Insider, and make sure you stick around to see if Andy does get Captain Sirius to the winner's circle for tomorrow's Holly Hughes. That will do it for us. Maggie Wolfendale on behalf of Richard Migliore, thanks for joining us here on Aqueduct Insider.